Good morning, good evening, everyone. My bad. Uh, it's a cozy day in Bombay. It's raining last 2 3 days, so it feels like a morning. But good evening, and thank you all for taking the time out to be here today. I'm Karan Mulchandani, and I'm the founder of Enlightened Sapiens. And as you all know, we've been holding these sessions every weekend on various topics from art and gardening, meditation, fitness, hiking, and anything that helps you discover your passion. And that's sort of what we're about, right? Is we want to help you discover your passion, and we hold these sessions for free. And the reason why we hold these sessions for free is because we believe that knowledge should have no barrier. We want to help you find the things that make you happy and want you to further these things. Hence, we've been holding these sessions with experts, and now you all know why we're here. We're here to learn something new, learn something interesting, or you learn something that you're passionate about, which is the essence of Enlightened Sapiens. We're a community that encourages you to grow and learn with the things that you love so that when you're ready, you can give back with this knowledge, making it easier for someone else to do the same. And today we have Anil Shah, who is here with us today and who wishes to give back with his knowledge on time management. So a little bit about Anil. Anil is a professional speaker, life coach, and an entrepreneur. So he was in a high-paying corporate job for 11 years, and according to him, he was fortunate enough to discover the coach in him, and he's been happy really doing that, and that's what you do when you discover something that you love and what makes you happy, right? And he describes himself as a classic introvert who comes totally alive when he's on stage, or he's public speaking, or coaching, of course. So he has, when he's not working, he has many hobbies like reading, cooking, practicing, and teaching yoga. And for someone who has so many interests, hobbies, and work, he needs to manage his time, and that's what he's going to help us do today. He's going to help us manage our time a little better. And when we started our session today, less than a minute or 2 minutes ago, the first thing I told all of you all, which I tell everyone in each of my sessions, is thank you all for taking the time to be here today, because I understand that time is valuable. For you all to spend 1 hour, we make sure that it's crisp, it's right, and you have enough knowledge in this 1 hour, right? So you'll have made the time today, so we're going to help you manage your time better. And with all the things that we want to achieve, there's so many things we want to do, and if you're not able to manage our time, we can't achieve anything, right? So we're going to learn how to understand our daily activities, manage our time. So I'm not going to take much of your time, and I'm going to hand it over to Anil. So all our sessions are interactive, you guys know. So if you have questions, use the chat box, use the raise hand button. It's interactive. So yeah, over to you, Anil.
Okay, sorry. Can you guys hear me now? Hear me, see me? All okay? Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, yeah. So please come along with me. If I'm asking a question, please respond so that we are connected and I know what's going on. So again, thank you, Karan, for giving me the opportunity today. Thank you, all the participants, for joining in. I hope by the end of the session, you would know how to manage yourselves and your time better. So the idea is, time is a limited commodity, but sometimes we start using the time as if, the time is like a well which is never ending. So without further ado, so Karan, are we waiting for more participants or?
No, we can begin. We can begin.
Okay, so if you have a count, how many of us are there?
We are about 150 right now on Zoom.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So I'm going to begin by asking, so you are in this time management workshop, but I would like to get some specifics around how do you struggle with the time? What are some of your biggest challenges with managing your time? If you could type in, I'll just wait for a couple of seconds. Okay, so I'm getting responses from Simran, procrastination with respect to tests and exams, balancing everything, procrastination. Okay, prioritizing things. losing hold of time. Losing hold of time. It's like sand in your hand. You know, it'll go away. You can't hold it. The tighter you make your fist, the faster it'll go away. Studies while working, balancing everything, procrastination. Very less time. You know, somebody says time flies. Uh, yeah, work-life balancing. Work intensive, no time to think. I think somebody said thought to think about other things, wanting to do perfectly, managing profession and family, friends. Okay, well, thank you for your responses. I think we've got a lot of them. Appreciate the participation. So again, my name is Anil Sharma, and by the way of this time together, about 45 minutes to an hour, I would like to at least be able to add some value to your life and give you something genuinely practical and applicable that you can apply in your lives and at least make some solid, tangible changes in your life as far as managing your time is concerned. So I'm gonna share something with you. Give me 1 second. Okay, is my screen visible to all? Okay, so yeah, Karan, I'm going to rely on you because I'm not going to be looking at the chats anymore. Uh, and I'm going to have to minimize this also. Okay, so, you know, the two greatest Greek philosophers, Socrates and Aristotle. So one says an unexamined life is not worth living, and the other says the unplanned life is not even worth examining. So you hear this a lot, failing to plan is planning to fail. And so a lot of times we just run through life objective. So to begin with, I'd like to focus on in what ways do we waste time? What are some of the killers of productivity and time in today's modern scenario? In 1980, and he said that when it comes to personal possessions, when it comes to things of possession, we are so miser about it. We're so stingy about it. We're so careful about it. But when it comes, so we are so wasteful about, and we squander it around as if there is limitless, unbound supply of time that's never going to end. many meeting invites. So these meetings are largely unproductive, but we still spend a lot of time in these meetings to the extent that almost $37 billion in the salary cost just in the US alone is spent for wasteful meetings. Third is the work interruptions. So there are a lot of people, if they don't want to work, they would not let the others work. And sometimes those people are us as well. If we're not willing to work today, we would just go around, stand by somebody else and engage them in a conversation and waste their time. See, uh, every time we're engaged in a conversation, there's this thing called attention residue. So if we are engaged in a conversation with somebody, it takes a lot of time for our brain to switch from that conversation or the thing that we were busy with to switch back to our own work that we were doing before. So it's not just that conversation or that interruption is wasteful. Going back to and switching back to the work that you were doing before that, that also takes a lot of your time. Now, moving along, there's another thing where we do not know how to say no. Sometimes we get a phone call from a friend. We don't want to take that phone call. We want to exit that phone call, but we don't know how to exit that phone call. Sometimes we get work from our colleagues, our bosses, or our friends, family members. We are not able to say no. My recommendation here is, when it comes to deciding whether or not to say yes or a no to something, you just ask yourself a question. If you're really truly passionate about it and you really truly feel that you're supposed to do it or you do have the need to do it, if you get the answer as a hell yes, then you should go ahead and do it. Otherwise, it should be a clear no. Now, another one that I have struggled with in the past, and I have seen a lot of my corporate colleagues struggling with, is having or not having the technical and functional skills to do a job, not having clarity about what you're supposed to do. For instance, you're given a task. Are you guys able to see me, hear me all right so far? Just
Yes,
respond.
we
Respond.
can. Right now, we can see your desktop very cluttered.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So a lot of times what happens in an office scenario is we are given a task by a boss or somebody higher up. Let's say if I struggle with Excel, for instance, or I struggle with PowerPoint, we do not reach out to people who can help us make that presentation or who can help us make that Excel analysis or whatnot, be it a MIS department or somebody who's better with it. Sometimes we are the victim of our own reputation or our own image, or we are too proud to approach somebody wondering or thinking or feeling embarrassed about the fact that what would they think. Now what happens because of this is we don't know how to do the job. We don't have the clarity about what is expected of us. We are not approaching people who can help us. So what's happening is the deadline is not going to go away. As they say, when the pigeon faces the cat, he just shuts his eyes, assuming that the cat is going to go away. So the cat is not going to go away. Similarly, the deadline or the timeline is not going to go away. So the day arrives, we've not finished the task, or we've not done a great job with it, and then we have to hear from our bosses or colleagues or whoever it is that we're supposed to present that task. The next one is feeling overwhelmed. This is a story of a lot of people. This has been a story for myself. Sometimes we are overwhelmed in all the realms of our life, all these spheres of our life, be it personal, professional, social, when it comes to your responsibility towards your community or country or your self goals, your passion and your drivers. Why does that happen? If I'm used to wasting time, if I'm used to not managing my time better, if I'm used to missing my timelines and everything, then everything seems like everything is urgent. People are literally my task and the to-do things are bogging me down from my personal front, professional front, social front, everywhere. I'm not able to uh, perform good at my job. I'm not able to attend to the social gatherings or all that I'm supposed to do in my family. I'm not able to do anything from my personal life or my financial life. Now, why does it happen? See, whenever you get a task, it's like you have a timeline. You know that you have a timeline. You are supposed to perform. Either you lack in the technical functional skills to perform that task, or you are lazy. You are somebody who likes to burn the midnight oil, sit on the task for as long as you want, or as long as you can, or as long as it's permitted, and then really start working on the task on the very last day. So what happens is, you're supposed to pay your phone bill or your water or electric bill. You had 20 days, but you sat on it and you did not do it. Now you have the last date and you're supposed to, give me just a second. Sorry, guys. So now you have the last day and then you are struggling to pay your bill. If you don't pay your bill, there's going to be a late charge or whatever it is that's going to be. Similarly, in the work scenario. So there comes a time when all these tasks are piled up and it feels like everything is urgency. Everything is urgent. Everything has to be done right now. It's because of, one is procrastination. Second is your fear to approach people, the right people who could help you, collaborate with you to do the job. So it could be because of many reasons, but feeling overwhelmed is one major reason or one major scenario where we feel that, we're struggling with it. The next one is lack of sleep, exercise, which leads to attention disorder. If you're like the average person who likes to spend a lot of time on Instagram, watching YouTube videos, which sometimes you don't even like, but we're just used to, every time we're watching something interesting, we're getting this adrenaline rush. We're getting this dose of dopamine, which keeps us hooked to our phone or our TV or internet or whatever it is. What does that do is that takes a toll on your sleep, that takes a toll on the things that you were supposed to do or the tasks that you were supposed to accomplish during the day. So you wake up sleep deprived, you have no time to exercise, and you struggle with paying attention or focusing or understanding what's going on in your life. So this is something that was okay. Just taking a check. Are we good so far? How is the pace? Uh, are you able to follow me? Are you able to come along, Karan?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. So, guys, if you feel that we're not connected, we're not on the same page, Karan, please stop me there. I could go slow or change the pace of it. Okay.
Absolutely. No, it's great. Everyone's on board. Everyone's, as you can see with the messages, everyone is on board. Some people just had some questions about, were you discussing about personal time management and for a younger audience and not work related. So if you could share on that as well.
Okay. Do you want me to spend some time over there right now?
No, anytime. I told them that it will be covered during the session. So
okay, sounds good. So I'm going to rely on you, Karan, completely because I'm not looking at the chat box. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so moving along, guys. We've got 194 participants. I hope you're able to hear me, see me well. We are currently discussing all the reasons why we end up killing our productivity and we end up wasting time. Okay, so the next point that I mentioned in that is attention residue. So this is a phenomena which is greatly discussed in a uh, very seminal work of somebody called Dr. Cal Newport. So he is a professor at an Ivy League university in the US. So he wrote this book a few years ago, and it was an instant hit. It so resonated with people who were struggling with managing their professional and personal time. So I'd recommend to pick up this copy. It'll be worth your time. So one of the scenarios or one of the terms which he coined was attention residue. So this is nothing but if I'm watching TV, or let's say if I am watching a video on YouTube just before I go to bed, you know, if I'm it's very hard for my brain to switch from what I was doing, because my brain was totally hooked on to what I was doing just a few minutes ago. So sometimes we feel that, hey, let me watch the TV for half an hour, or let me spend some time on Instagram for half an hour, 45 minutes, then I'm going to switch to work. So what ends up happening is, for your mind to make that switch is very hard, you know. And since your mind was already engaged, so those the cells in your mind, or those receptors in your mind which were getting that dopamine dose from all these things, activities uh, that you were engaged in, they were still engaged. So what ends up happening is your brain gets sort of drained of energy, and it also reduces your productivity in the long term. Okay. Now, another thing which the youngsters or the millennials of today's world like to do is multitasking, and it's sort of such a hip thing today to do multiple things the same time. But it is one of the biggest killer of productivity. It reduces the quality of the work that you produce. And the reason is, our brain is not designed to handle multiple tasks at a given time. You're talking on the phone, you're typing your email, and you're also engaged in a conversation with somebody. You must have seen it. You end up typing something on the email that you were discussing with somebody who is in front of you. So you end up making a lot of mistakes, because even when it comes to remembering, let's say, a phone number, we say the phone number 334, because your brain can only remember things in batches of 3, 3, and 4, only 3 sets at a time. So multitasking greatly reduces the efficiency, effectiveness, of the task that you produce. As per a survey, it says that it reduces your productivity almost by 40%. Try and understand, guys. Our brain is still a very old and ancient organ. Okay, we're still primal beings. There's this equipment or an organ in a brain called amygdala, which is super old, which is greatly responsible for safeguarding us. So this brain has served us well. It has kept us away from dangerous animals back in the day. So we need to also understand the limitations of it. When you focus on one thing and you do a task the same time every day, it greatly improves the productivity of your brain. It also activates the cells in your body, which understand, okay, this person is in a habit, he's going to do the same thing. So the brain creates or forms new cells which help you, and new receptors which help you do the task at the same time in a better way. The next one is, organizing your life better. A lot of times we spend a lot of time looking for our keys, our gym membership card, car keys, bike keys, stuff we're looking for, clothes that we're looking for. So there was a survey conducted by some organization where they'd mentioned, in about 10 years' time, we spent almost half a year just looking for stuff that we've lost. So these are very small things, but we do not realize how much time we end up spending just looking for stuff that we've lost. So here I'm really at the end of reasons for losing productivity, or not being able to manage our time better. Before I move to the next segment, uh, is there anyone who wants to discuss any other reasons for lack of productivity, or killers of productivity, or time wasting things?
Divya, do you want to unmute yourself? I'll help you do that. Yeah. Go ahead, Divya. You can ask a question.
Thank you so much, Karan, for organizing this. And thank you so much, Anil sir, for providing your valuable insight.
Welcome, Divya.
I think I'm going to ask you a regular query that any student is going to ask you.
Uh-huh.
So, When we talk about writing our tests, when we talk about writing our exams, we get a stipulated, say, 3 hours or 2 hours to write or attempt so and so marks. Say for 100 marks, you're going to get 3 hours, standard, like how we have our board exams. So when we get those 3 hours, a lot of time I've seen it happen personally also, like with respect to my friends and with respect to myself also. We've tried meditation, we've tried, like planning everything. We are going to be talking about these facets, these aspects only.
Mhm.
But somehow, we start off with the introduction, and by the time we reach conclusion, we allot 20 minutes. But hota hai ki it just flies off and it becomes 35 minutes, 40 minutes. So then we have to compromise on the other areas, the other questions where we want to attempt. So can you please provide some tips or some insight as to how to tackle this, because it happens almost every time. So we start off with all
Got
our energy packed up that yeah, we can handle this, but by the time you look at the clock, it's like अरे यार आधा से ज़्यादा time उड़ भी गया.
No, I get it. I get it, and I relate with it so much because I have studied in a pattern for universities where you'll get like 5 20 marks question. Okay, these are big questions, and you have to just fill up seats as many as you can. And in that flow, you end up spending too much time on one question, and the next thing you know, you have still more than half the paper left, and you've lost most of your time. So the thing is, very quickly, the way I'd like to deal with it is attempting the exam or the paper in a better way. So, first of all, things that you know best, things where you will waste the least amount of time, attempting those questions first. Second is knowing how the exam, the pattern of the exam is going to be. What kind of questions are there? How the question paper is going to be, designed. Once you already know the question paper, so we prepare a lot for what questions are going to be there, but we do not take into account so much what the pattern of the exam is going to be. So if you already know the pattern of the exam, then you already before taking the exam study in the same pattern, attempt like you have a pseudo exam or a dry run of the exam. You know how the pattern is going to be, so you attempt it beforehand 5 6 7 8 10 times, whatever it is amount of time you want to spend on it before you go for the actual exam. So that's a very specific question, and I'm going to take more questions later on. Karan,
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Just to add to your point, Anil, it absolutely, Divya, what Anil said is absolutely true. You need to know the pattern. What used to help me during my exams was a couple things, Divya, is that when I got the question paper, right, I used to read. I mean, I'm sure many people still do this. I'm not given exams for a long time, but I used to read all the questions. Okay, so I used to go through the questions quickly from the whole question paper, and like Anil said, know what you know. But for me, most importantly, I wanted to know what I didn't know, so that I can ruminate over that subconsciously, right? So basically, I'm the ones that I know I can always quickly write because you know the answers, but the ones you don't know, you can sort of judge subconsciously. At least that's how I used to do it. You have to find your flow, but going through the questions, knowing what you know, and giving more time to the things you don't know, you can allocate more accordingly, right? So that's how you can sort of space it out, knowing that okay, this I might take more time because I don't know the answer to, so I might have to attempt that differently or attempt the ones I know better and write those better. So you have to tackle each exam differently based on your objectives, but more marks is always better, right? That's what we go for.
yeah, and to summarize again, first know the pattern of the exam first hand, and try to attend the pattern of the exam before you take the actual exam. Do a lot of dry runs. Second again is attempt the questions that you know fully well, and also once you practice के मुझे इतने question के लिए I'm only gonna spend that much time. Once you've practice this, you become used to this also. So you do not lose time in the flow. That's what ends up happening. Sometimes we feel that the more sheets we fill, the more marks we're gonna get. So avoid doing that. So that's
Absolutely.
a question.
I hope that helps you. Let's take another quick question, Anil, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Kanchan has a very important, I like what she's commented. She also wants to interact and speak to you, but this is something I follow as well. I think she's mentioned about important, urgent, and emergency. I'm sure you're aware of that. So Kanchan, would you like to ask Anil a question quickly? You can unmute yourself.
As of now, I do not have any specific question in my mind, sir.
Okay, that's fine.
However, whatever came to my mind about prioritizing, that's what I feel personally, and that's what I shared with you. However, if any question pops up, then I'll definitely share those with you.
Sure, sure. All right. Super, super. Thanks, Kanchan. Okay. Anyone else has any quick questions we want to take? Okay, Priya has a question. Let's do this, and then Anil, let's continue with our session. Because I know there's a lot to accomplish. Go ahead, Priya.
Hi sir, this is
Yeah.
Priya and I'm studying 12th. I'm having my classes from morning 7 to 10, 11 and evening 4 to 7. In between, I can't allot my time to study well and I'm having my exams regularly and I could not manage my time and I'm having struggle in it. Can you please give some suggestions? Hello.
Sure.
Thank you.
Is Anil? I think Anil has got disconnected. Give me a second. Yeah, I think Anil is facing network issues. I think he'll be back shortly. All right. So, can you repeat your question if you don't mind, Priya? You're going to classes and Priya?
So, can you hear now?
Yes.
So I'm having classes from 7 to 11 at morning, sir, and at evening 4 to 7. And I'm having exams too at in between. And I could not manage my time to read well for it. Can you have some suggestions to solve it?
Read for your exams.
Uh,
Yeah, actually during exams and studying, I know many of y'all, are facing the same issues in exams and college, and there's a lot that we do. The typical example of you carrying lots of books is typical of Indian education, where we have to, cram in a lot. What I would basically recommend to you is try to do, concentrate on what you're doing when you're doing it, right? So when you wake up in the morning, for me, find out when works for you. So I used to wake up early in the morning. So for me, 4 to 6, 7 was a good time for me early in the morning, because there was no distractions, in the house, outside. So find out when works for me. Many people, the nighttime works. So find out what time works for you, and try to sort of do the most, at least for me, most important work or studying in that morning time, or when you're most productive. Find out when it's most productive for you. Do the studying there. If you have some homework or some of those things, you can do that during, like, post lunch, or whenever you're a little lazier, when it's not as you don't have to put in something into your mind as much. So find out what time you're most productive in, and you'll be able to manage your time better. Anil is back. We can ask him quickly. Anil, the
No problem.
question. No, that's fine. The question was, Priya's got classes, throughout the day basically, and she's stumped on when does she remove time to actually study. So that was the basic question.
She's got classes throughout the day. Is that the question you were just answering?
Yes.
Okay. So she is studying college school. And
Yeah.
Okay. So when does she study? Okay. Are you saying you have no time? I mean, how much time are you left with?
so from 11 to 3, I'll be left and I can't study in those times and I'm getting more distractions.
Sorry, 9 to 3. You have time to study?
11.
9 a.m. to 3 p.m.?
11 to 3.
11 to 3.
Yes, sir.
11 p.m. to 3 a.m. or 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.?
11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. you have time to study. But that time is very distracting for you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so is it Shrishti? I'm sorry, who's the...
Priya.
Shrishti. So Shrishti, I'm not sure. I don't know visibility. Don't have visibility around your schedule, but I don't know if you can change the time of your classes. I'm sure if it's a school or a college, you can't. If it's a tuition, you might. But if you are not able to tweak your schedule at all, then we don't really have a choice but to get ourselves to study in the time that we're left with. Now, if you're saying that the environment in your house or wherever you are is very disturbing, there's noise or there are people around, then you might want to join, let's say, a co-working space, or a place where students go to study. It could be a library, it could be a place in your school. You could go to your school earlier, find a space in the library to study. If you have the liberty to change your schedule, great. If you don't, then we're just going to have to do with whatever time we're left with. Just find the right space, maybe a library or a quiet space where it is less disturbing for you, I guess, if that's what you're asking.
Yes, sir.
Super. Yes, I that the answer, Anil, what you're trying to say is schedule, right? So, we can take more questions later on. You can carry on with, if you want to take more questions, that's fine with me as well. So up to you.
Okay, no, I think we can carry on and we can take
Okay.
questions later.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, so moving on around strategies to manage our time better. Okay, and let me share my screen. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen? Okay, great. Great. So the first and the most important is the morning ritual. It is the start of the day. Sometimes we wake up and the first thing we want to look for is our phone, and if you don't find it, we just go crazy, and then we have to look for notification on Insta, Facebook, and a bunch of other things that we are addicted to. That's a lifestyle we've adopted to, or we start living. So this is this strategy that I found in a book, which is SAVERS. It's an acronym which stands for S stands for silence. Silence means meditation. So when you do meditation, you also go through. You silent your thoughts, and in the morning time, the alpha and the theta rays in your brain are active. That's a state where you're neither fully awake nor fully sleeping. So that is also a time when you can calm your thoughts, and also basically prepare yourself to take up the challenges of what's coming along. Second is affirmations. So affirmations are the positive things that you tell yourself. Normally, we tend to think of the worst that could happen in our life, but one of the affirmation is, I can, I am, I do, I will. I can do anything that comes in front of me today. I am capacitated, I am capable, I am worthy, I am deserving to get the best in my life. I will face any challenge upfront. I will not be scared or fearful of anything that comes my way. So like the great Muhammad Ali used to say, I'm the fastest, I'm the greatest, I'm the fastest, I'm the greatest, I'm the fastest, I'm the greatest. So these affirmations may sound cheesy to some, but what happens is, while you're saying these affirmations, you're not just saying them, you're also seeing yourself doing that. If you are a student, you want to see yourself study hard, picture yourself getting up on time and studying, being at school and answering questions and engaging and interacting with question answers, or doing a great job, or teachers applauding you, your classmates applauding you. Similarly, if you are somebody who's working professionally, presenting to your colleagues, pitching an idea to your clients, or interacting with your colleagues and doing a great job at work. So see yourself doing a great job while you're saying these affirmations every day, because our subconscious mind works on the visuals. So if we show great visuals and imagery to our subconscious mind goes out and creates those ideas, those resources, those situations, circumstances, and it makes it happen. Conscious mind is, or conscious brain is where you do things consciously, like brushing our teeth and things like that. But subconscious mind is a powerful mind. Some people also say it's really the 90% of the total brain power is subconscious mind. So having the right imagery and having the right visuals really at the start of the day also sets up your subconscious mind to make great things happen for you. The next one is something that I've already discussed is visualization. So visualization, I'm sure you've heard the power of some subconscious mind, visualizing the best version of yourself. You know, in modern times, the greatest of Olympic athletes today in the VR, they are shown the best parts of their game, their winning moments when they won the Olympic gold, when they broke a record, when they see the positive imagery, the positive reinforcement happens, and your subconscious mind wants to make that positive things happen for you. So when you're looking for something positive and something great for you, try to make that visual very vivid, very grand, bold, bright, almost like you can touch and feel it. So when you're seeing yourself being great, some people also talk about having a vision board. And when you make a vision board, make it such that it is already happening to you. You're already living that life. Yeah. So that is a saver's. Give me just 1 second. Okay. So the next is the exercise, which is really really important. You know, when we do any amount of exercise, even if you're doing like 5 times a day or 4 times a day, 30 minutes, just a normal walk or some stretching exercises or yoga, what it really does is, uh, first of all, it sends more oxygen to your brain. Your brain gets more oxygen. It thinks clearly. It thinks better. You are able to sleep better. It changes your metabolism. Your metabolism improves. So you digest your food better. You are more active. You don't have any attention disorder. You're able to focus on things better. So all these things are like, if you do one thing great, the other things also happens automatically. Okay. Now the next one is reading. So reading is basically when you write a task, when you've decided to do something at the beginning of the day, you make sure that as you get up, you read that as soon as you wake up, so that your brain has realized that whatever it is that is written on the piece of paper or in front of your computer or a vision board is important to you. And the last one is scribing. Scribing is basically writing. So this is again writing your task down, whatever it is that is important for you, writing it down. So savers again, silence, which is meditation. A means affirmation. V means visualization. And what was? Uh, Give me a second. I just left my mind. Give me a second, man. Yeah, so E was for exercise, R is for reading, and S is for scribing. So, so you could follow this technique and love to hear how it really helps you. The second one is night ritual. So, like you have a morning ritual, you should also have a night ritual. Night ritual is nothing but, I'm sure you must have heard, you sleep on a problem and you wake up with a solution. So when you have your goals defined, when you have a goal list or a task list with a specific timeline, if you look at it before you go to bed, so the two things are, you look at your task list as you wake up, and then you look at your task list before you go to bed. Uh, so when you're going to bed, looking at these tasks, all the questions which are unanswered, all the confusions that you need clarity on, all the problems that you need solutions for, while you are sleeping actively or consciously, your subconscious mind is still at the back of the mind, like Karan was mentioning. Your subconscious mind is still creating solutions for those problems while you are sleeping. So subconscious mind is like working on your orders or working on your command. You looked at all the tasks, and in the back end, it will create situations and circumstances and bring you the ideas. If you want to write a speech, and you look at, okay, I have to write a speech, and this is the title of the speech. Lo and behold, while you're sleeping, it'll bring those ideas to you while you're sleeping to make that happen for you as you wake up. The next one is writing your goals in a precise and specific manner. So, so if I have to exercise, then I'll have to define a time for exercising. You know, I need to make time for it. So I need to exercise at 6 a.m. and making sure that I do that at 6 a.m. every day. So making your, you know, as I say, we use the SMART technique, you know, which are specific and measurable and attainable and reachable. So you could use a SMART technique. So the idea is when you write your goal, the goals should be such that you're passionate about it. The goals should be such that they also serve the larger objective, things that you want to achieve in your life. Uh, and the next one is learning how to set priority and knowing what is important for you and passionate about, something that I've already covered. Uh, the next one is being kind to ourselves. You know, that is something that I feel is a really, really important one. Sometimes if we're struggling with managing our time and we're not really happy with the way our efficiency or productivity has been, personal or professional, there comes a day when we sit down, we're really frustrated, we're really tired of the way our life has been, and we start ordering ourselves around. So there is this me that you're seeing, and there is a me inside of me. With that person, I always have this constant internal dialogue. So, so yourself, you can't order yourself around. You have to sit yourself down on a table which is equal to you, and you have to be reasonable. If you just say that, okay, I'm going to give myself this goal, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and tomorrow I'm going to study for 10 hours, which is not possible because you've never studied for 10 hours. Yourself is going to say, are you kidding me? Like, who are you kidding? You know, you've not been even been studying for 2 hours and you're going to study for 10 hours. So be reasonable. You know, give yourself the goals which are attainable. And, you know, there is something that I'd like to discuss later, but good point to discuss it right now. There's a Japanese technique called Kaizen. Have you guys heard about it? You guys can respond if you've heard about it. So basically, Kaizen is nothing but taking small steps towards changing a behavior. You know, we all talk about, you know, one ball and hitting a six out of the park. That's not really what the real life is. You know, I read this powerful book called The Slight Edge. So in that slight edge, you know what it really says is the life is not full of miracles, or life is not one thing I did and it completely changed my life. Life is a sum total of things that you do constantly, consistently, mundane tasks when nobody's watching, nobody's looking. You're waking up at 4 o'clock, the world is still sleeping till 8 o'clock, but you're out there in the park, you know, striving and working out and exercising and studying. Nobody's there to commend you. Nobody's there to applaud you. Nobody's there to appreciate you. But you don't really need anybody. Okay. So these, you know, you do these tasks every day, small little, and you make incremental improvements in your habits, in your tasks, and that is how you also satisfy yourself. You also build trust of yourself in yourself by making these small steps. So read more on the Kaizen technique, the Japanese technique where they make so small and incremental improvements. You know, let's say if I wake up at 7 every day and tomorrow I tell myself I'm going to wake up at 7, realistic to expect that of me. But you could say that, okay, I wake up at 7, tomorrow I'm going to try to wake up at 6:30 or 6:45, you know? So you make those small tweaks and slowly and gradually, you know, as they say, 21 days to make or break a great habit or break a bad habit. So doing some things that you want to improve in yourself consistently and making sure that those small changes you're able to make for 21 days straight, that becomes a permanent habit. That becomes something that you never forget. Okay, moving along. Be a witness to your thoughts, and yeah, you know, as per a study. In fact, I was listening to Dr. Deepak Chopra one day, and he says that we, on a daily basis, we get about 68,000 thoughts, and most of these thoughts are irrelevant, meaningless. They don't have any meaning. But what happens is these thoughts engage us, and we end up wasting our time. Now, just in the preceding slide, I mentioned that we must write our goals. So when we write our goals, the beauty of writing our goals is that whenever you write your goals, you've given a certain amount of mind space or your energy of your mind to those tasks. And your mind is going to think about those tasks more because now you've sent a responsibility to your mind. You are asking your mind to do a certain things. So first is writing your tasks. Second is when you're thinking about things, sometimes, I don't know, when we're thinking about, let's say, our boyfriend or our girlfriend or a party that we want to go to, or, the best thing that we want in our life, we see it. We see it very visually. Similarly, let's just say that if I want to do this workshop today, then I should use my thoughts instead of thinking about unnecessary, unessential, or wasteful thoughts. I want to think about my PowerPoint presentation or my workshop with you guys, or thing that I want to do at work, or thing that I want to do at school, or how I want to better my life. Thinking about those tasks and those thoughts, and really dwelling on them and going deeper in them and visualizing them, because those are the tasks or the thoughts which is going to take you closer to your goal. Okay. Any questions so far? Are you guys with me? Are you able to follow me? Are we connected? Are we on the same page?
If you want to take questions now, we can take it now or whenever you like. But everyone's saying yes, all affirmative that they're with you and they're enjoying. So
okay, sounds good. Now I'm gonna quickly share a couple of strategies. I think I just went into my rambling a little bit, so I might have lost a couple of you. So forgive me for that. I'm gonna share some quick techniques really quickly, and the next one that I'm discussing is really interesting. How many of you have heard of Jerry Seinfeld? Okay. Okay, so you must have read the responses of participants. Most of you, there was a very famous Seinfeld show, which was written or co-authored by Jerry Seinfeld himself, who was the main character in the show, and Larry David, who is currently stars in. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot. So the point I'm trying to make here is Jerry Seinfeld is the highest paid stand-up comic ever. His income net worth today is about $1 billion. And he's very shy, and he's also very introverted. And he was asked, what is the secret sauce of your success? So a struggling amateur rookie comedian asked him that. So he said that I write a joke every day. My job is to write a joke every day. And what I do is I have taken this big calendar, which has like 365 days of the year on that calendar. Okay. Every time I write a joke, I just tick it. I check it. Okay, I've written a joke. Now I go ahead and do it for 3 days and 4 days and 5 days and 10 days and 12 days. What happens is as more time passes and I see that I have checked so many boxes, the amount of confidence that I get is amazing. The amount of high that I get at that time is amazing. And that's what keeps me going. So the only thing that you have to focus on is do not break the chain. Do not let the chain break. So that's something that I'd like to recommend to you guys, that if there is something that you want to do, even if you're doing small steps. See, Seinfeld is only saying write one joke, and slowly and gradually, the amount of compounding he's going to achieve by doing it consistently. Today he's writing one joke, maybe a week or 10 days or a month or 6 months down the line, he might end up writing 5 jokes or 10 jokes or 12, 20 jokes in a day. And by the time this little habit would have become such a permanent in his mind that he could never revert from it or never go back to not doing it. So try it out. The Seinfeld strategy of putting your entire year's calendar in front of you, writing your tasks, breaking them down, and doing them every day, and making a check mark as soon as you've completed it, and making sure that you do not break the chain. Second is deep work strategy. So deep work strategy is basically nothing but keeping yourself away from these distractions. You know that Instagram has something that your brain enjoys. You know, you like looking at people being at great destinations, enjoying their time and life and all of that, and it hooks you up. So your brain becomes helpless in front of it. So the idea is to when you work in small chunks of time, whenever you realize those chunks of time are your productivity booster time zones, put the phone away, put the phone on a silent mode, and just do not look at it. Uh, so that's the deep work strategy. Getting away from all the distractions and possible things which could engage you and waste your time. Staying away from it, and when you're focused on just working, even if you're working on your laptop, making sure that everything else is closed, everything else is crossed out. You're only looking at the screen that you're working on. So that's deep work for you. Uh, Next one is, like I mentioned, the slight edge, making small improvements. As they say, how to eat an elephant. The way you eat an elephant is bite by bite by bite by bite, and taking these baby steps uh, and making small increment improvements. See, nothing happens overnight, so nothing changes overnight. If I become overweight today, if I become obese or fat today, that has not happened to me overnight. It has taken a lot of long-term ignorance. It has taken a lot of long-term ignoring uh, or watching the calories that I'm taking. It has taken a long time of not caring about how I look. So do not expect that tomorrow, if you've joined the gym, overnight anything is going to happen. See, that the truth of life is, whether it is wrong or it is good, nothing happens overnight. And it is also beautiful, because when you start taking baby steps towards in the direction of your goal, the amount of confidence that you get, like if you've done it today, tomorrow you're going to feel better. And if you can put yourself up to doing it for a couple of days in a row, then a week later you're going to feel way more better. So try that. The next one is, my favorite one, the famous American humorist, Mark Twain. He said, if your job is to eat two frogs, if your job is to eat two frogs, eat the bigger one first. So the idea is, a lot of times we tend to avoid the tasks which are very difficult, which we don't enjoy, which we don't have complete clarity around, or we don't have the skills to do. Now, so we tend to put it off. We tend to ignore it. We tend to put it off to really the last day. Whereas what we should do is, uh, the most difficult looking task, the task that you don't even sure how you're supposed to do, it's going to take longer for you to do. Okay. So you should get down to doing that task the first. And whatever resources you need, if you need to collaborate, ask people, get clarity on, you should do that first. Sometimes we just do things which don't even mean anything. I mean, replying to email and engaging with small stuff, just making us feel that we're busy, but we're not. We're busy accomplishing really nothing. So try this. Uh, Eat the Frog. There's also, I'd like to recommend a famous book by the same name, Eat That Frog. It's written by a famous self-help author called Brian Tracy. You could probably get a free audiobook of it on YouTube as well. So check that out. Eat That Frog. Okay, moving along. Are there any questions anyone has? I'd love to engage.
Sure. There's a couple quick questions we can take. I know we are pressed on time, but let's take a couple questions and then we can interact as well. So the question from Pinky Mandal was how to manage daily regular work with a side hustle in which we are passionate about.
Wow, that is so interesting. You know, if you are passionate about something, is it Pinky?
Yes.
Okay. So Pinky, if you're passionate about something, let's assume that you work for 10 hours a day, okay? 8 hours a day, 10 hours your commute and everything, and then you have to sleep and you have to eat, cook, whatever. Even if it takes 18 hours or 20 hours of your time, the 4 hours that you're left with, you would do that side hustle. I was recently asked a question, I am passionate about music, but while I'm working, I'm not able to take my classes. I'm not able to perform in restaurants and bars and clubs. So I want to quit my job. And my answer to that person was, if you are passionate about music, then you will not wait to leave your job. If you're passionate about something, then you will find time to do it. See, your job is currently paying you and feeding you and paying your bills and taking care of yourself and providing for you. It's your passion. So you don't have to leave your job for your passion. You continue making time, whatever little time you can make, and continue working on your side hustle. Bring your side hustle to a point where it can replace your salary, and then you quit your job. Then you don't have to worry about your day job. But until you have reached that point, continue making time for it. I wish I could give you a shortcut. I mean, a lot of times we don't have to be working in a very intensive work environment. Take your side hustle to your work. Take your side hustle to your job. Quit on partying. I mean, I don't want to assume, but basically wherever you can find time, be it at night, be it at early morning, be it as they say, if you wake up at 4 o'clock, you are probably in the 1% club, because 99% of the world is still sleeping. So try to make those hacks where you can find small chunks of time, quiet time, time which helps you accomplish way more. There's no, I'm afraid, shortcut to it. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Awesome. There's another quick question Sid has asked, which is, I think, quite relevant. Whenever I make a timetable on Excel sheet, that is with every activity specified in it, the first 2-3 days goes really great, but I find I'm finally unable to manage it and actually accomplish the task. How do I stick to my timetable?
See, managing a time is not just managing a time, it is also managing yourself. I'm sorry, what's the name of the person?
Sid.
Sid. So Sid has asked this question. So Sid, when you did not stick to your schedule, where did you spend that time that you weren't doing your task that you had assigned for? Now, so the idea is, for instance, I'll give you an example. There's this 5-second rule. If you have to get up at 6 a.m., so the definition of self-discipline, that's what I think you're struggling with here. Self-discipline. The definition of self-discipline is, it is the ability to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, regardless of your wish or your desire. Okay? The ability to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, regardless of your desire. So if you're supposed to wake up at 5, while you're going to bed, you know that you have to wake up for 5. But when it comes to 5 o'clock in the morning, your internal dialogue starts, oh, I've not had enough sleep, or I'm too tired, or if I wake up, I'm going to have body ache and all of that, or I'm going to feel lethargic or sleepy throughout the day. The idea is not to get into that internal dialogue. The 5-second rule says, as soon as you're supposed to do a task, like a rocket launches itself. You know what happens when the rocket launches itself? What happens? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In those 5 seconds, do the backward count, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as soon as it reaches 1, roll up your sheets and get up from the bed. It requires actual physical energy, I'm saying. The physical energy it requires is what you need in that moment in the 5-second rule. And if you do not apply the 5-second rule, the emergency brakes are put on, you're like held in your tracks and you're stuck there. So try to apply the 5-second rules. Similarly, you are at a party and people are calling you to join you on the dance stage. And you're like, for a second, you want to raise your hand and you want to join them. So if you apply the technique 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you get up and go, great. If you hold yourself back, then your mind puts emergency brakes on you again. So one is this, try the 5-second rule. Second is, look into your task and look into the task list and see, are these things that you you really want to do them? Are they helping you, serving you the larger purpose that you have written them for? Third is reminding yourself what you were thinking when you wrote these goals down. When you wrote these goals down, you were a different person. So reminding yourself when you're not able to get up from your bed, or you're not able to get away from Instagram or television or whatever, remind yourself of that person you were and what it means to you to accomplish these goals. Why did you write these goals? Why do you want to be a better person? Why do you want to do more things? Why do you want to accomplish bigger things in life? Remind yourself of that and try to get away from distractions. Uh, and yeah, that's my answer.
Super, super, Anil. Okay, one quick last question, because many people have the same question on the chat. Is that okay? We're going to take consistent steps, right? So, but how do you remain motivated, disciplined, and consistent, right? We want to do it. We know we want to taking the small steps, but we don't. If we don't see the results, we lose motivation. So, how do we remain motivated, disciplined, and consistent?
Okay, so it's obviously a question which is hypothetical. I do not know specifically what your schedules are. I would have been able to answer it better, but let me try still. Uh, Guys, try to understand your mind, your fight. There's a famous quote that I remember and is very powerful for me. Uh, if you can overcome the enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. If you can overcome the enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. The thoughts that take you away from what you're supposed to do, try to witness those thoughts and try to dwell in the things that you were supposed to do, things that you had listed, and force yourself initially to think about the things that you had promised yourself to do. Second, I would like to say is that we all have come to this world with some skills, some gifts, some talents, some music in us. You know, uh, Somebody said that the most expensive place on the planet is not Africa, where there is diamond and gold, or not Saudi Arabia, where there is oil and petrol and whatnot. It is a graveyard. It is a cremation ground. It is the place where the aspirations, the companies which were supposed to be founded, the music that was supposed to be written, the books that were supposed to be written, the companies that were supposed to be created, all the things that you wanted to do or people wanted to do in their lives, they took it away with them. And it gets buried over there. Your skills and your gifts are the gifts that God gave you, but what you do with them is your gift back to God. So remind yourself of it, that you are on this planet for a limited time. Okay? And remind yourself, why did you give yourself these goals? Why did you decide to be a better person? Why did you decide to be disciplined? Why did you decide to accomplish more or get more out of your daily time? Try to also have an accountability partner. Try to have a friend who is invested in your growth and your success. Sometimes if you want to if you want to exercise, you have a friend. you know you have half the energy and he has half the energy. When your energies get combined, then you become a whole, you become 100%. So that's another way. Second is, try and be reasonable with the expectations of yourself. Like I said, the bad habits which have come in your mind, uh, they'll take some time to go away. But at the same time, if you're consistent with baby steps, which are easy for you to take initially, it'll help you demolish that structure that has built up. But try to be reasonable with yourself. I hope that answers your question.
That's beautifully said. Okay. Uh, Anil, I know we've got 10 minutes over past. There's a couple more questions. You would like to take those questions, or should I, ask them to, reach out to us post the session and give them a way where they can interact with us after the session?
Yeah,
That's,
Yeah, we could take more questions if people.
Okay, let's take one quick question. Ankita, you can unmute yourself. I know you've been asking to. She wants to add a point here, so let's hear her out. Ankita, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Anil. Actually, I don't have a question right now, but I want to add something here. Somebody asked you like how we need to be motivated every time. So, according to my point of view, if we try to change our working style, our working strategy in a like a period of time, I think it will keeps us motivated, right? Is that a point we can add it?
We can. You want to elaborate on that?
Like if
Give us an
somebody
example.
won't,
Maybe. Yeah. I think
yeah,
you
if
give.
somebody wants to wake up at in the morning like at 6, so the person has to give something to himself or herself, like मुझे अगर 6 बजे उठना है, so I have to be really like a focused person. तो एवरी टाइम मुझे कुछ ना कुछ नया चेंजेस लाना है इसमें, चाहे मैं एक काम ही कर रही हूँ, कोई इट्स अ वर्क लाइक, उस काम को करने के तरीके मेरे को चेंज करने पड़ेंगे, स्ट्रैटेजीज चेंज करनी पड़ेंगी। लाइक एक बच्चा अगर एक रूम में पढ़ रहा है, नाउ दिस इज द टाइम कि वो कहीं और उसको चेंज करना चाहिए रूम, कहीं और जाके वो पढ़े ताकि उसको मोटिवेशन मिलता रहे टू चेंज सम काइंड ऑफ अ
Change of
प्लेस लाइक
scenery, change of environment. Yeah.
एग्जैक्टली
It might help. I mean, so the idea is anything that helps you come out of that comfort zone. You know, our brain craves for comfort. So, and
या
as I say, the success lies outside your comfort zone. The success is never in your comfort zone. But there is a reason your brain is keeping you in the comfort zone, because your brain wants to keep you safe. But the paradox is, you can be safe, but you can never be successful. You know, as they say, I am reminded of Mark Twain again. You know, he said that the poison that does not kill you, it only makes you stronger. And you know, if experience, experience is the best teacher, but the fees is too high. But at the same time, if you constantly start facing your fears, the power of fear will become very small. So the idea is to take up the task which you've been avoiding and try and experiment. You know, if there's a difficult task or there's a hard task that you're trying to do for many days, the day you accomplish it or complete it or finish it, the amount of dopamine rush that you get in your body and the amount of happy hormone that you're filled with is really amazing, and that's what keeps you going. It's like a drug addict. You know, when you get a drug shot, you feel really high. Similarly, it's the same feeling when you accomplish a difficult looking task that you've been ignoring or not willing to do. The day you accomplish it, you feel really great. So the idea is to get into the habit of doing those tasks so that your brain keeps getting that reward, and you get into the habit of doing these tasks.
Absolutely. All right. So thanks, Anil. I know we've stayed a bit over time, but you've patiently answered everyone's questions, and I hope everyone's questions have got answered. And okay, there's one Tulsi. Okay, Tulsi, last question. Let's I'll help all reach out to us post the session. We have groups where we can ask our questions, but let's take one more last question. Tulsi, you can unmute yourself. I know you've been raising your hand for a while. Tulsi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. You can quickly ask your question.
So my question is about then when we start our making our habits, then there are
Mhm.
Go ahead, Tulsi.
so, sir- yes, sir.
You can ask your question.
Hello.
Go
Yes,
ahead,
go ahead.
Tulsi. We can hear you.
Yes, sir. When we start making our habit, then there is a more many problem that comes in our way. For that, what can we do? Sir?
It's a very generic question, but see, when you start a habit, you have to constantly remind yourself why this new habit is important for you, why going to the gym is important for you. Going to the gym is important for you because you want to feel better. You want to feel better in your own body. You you don't want to feel tired walking 20-30 miles. You want to be able to wear nice clothes, look better, you hang out, get more pictures and all of that. So you have to remind yourself what motivated you to adopt this new habit in the first place. What is the objective and the reason? And you have to give very precise and very enticing and very tempting reason to do that also. See, your mind is also very hard to please. अगर आप इसको बोलोगे, okay, let's do this, it's not going to follow your order. You have to tell yourself how this new habit is going to help you achieve it. I know that if we're used to not doing something for a long time, the initial few days are very critical. That's why I said, keep reminding yourself how this little habit changes the large things in your life, how it helps you achieve your objective in life, and also try to get an accountability partner. And it's not going to be that hard. Like I said, write that goal on a piece of paper, look at it before you go to bed, look at it after you wake up. It's definitely going to help. And try. And if you have any problems, I'm going to share my so if I type something here, is it going to reach the entire group?
Yeah, I'm going to share your Instagram
In that chat?
profile. I'm just going to share all of that, Anil. Your Instagram handle.
Okay, sounds good. So
Okay,
so you can reach out to me after the session. That's cool.
Exactly. So okay. I believe you've taken all questions, Anil. Thanks for being patient. And I think this was a really informative session. A lot of food for thought. And I hope all of you guys practice what Anil has said. These are not easy, as he said. It's not an overnight thing. So you got to do this. Be consistent. Be motivated. And I hope you all do that. So thanks, Anil, once again for this really amazing session and really informative session. I'm going to help you all reach out to us. So that's what I'm going to share right now. So Anil is available on his Instagram. As you can see, it's Anil Sharma _speaks. So you can reach out to him. And of course, we are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. So you can reach out to us on any of these platforms and ask your questions. You can share your stories, post whatever however you like to reach out to us. We'll be there to answer your questions. We also have a Facebook group called the Self-Care Community. You can join that, and I'll have Anil join it as well, and he can help you with any questions that you'll have in terms of time management or any other questions you have. And the community will help you with the questions. That's what we're all about, is that we can help each other grow. So you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or check out